afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, happy celebrations to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. It's your viewpoint, another Tuesday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome. I am Rotimi Akin. Today, I must let you know that this program is sponsored by Integrated Communication Services, and it is designed, created, and motivated to encourage moral values in our society and, of course, provide possible solutions to certain challenges around our environment. Today, we're talking about something very important that matters to everybody. We're talking about self-esteem. Possibly you've been thinking about it's not worth it, or probably you say so many negative things about yourself, or you feel, well, okay, life is not worth living. You don't have to get fun out of life. You don't even have to live at all. You don't want to get compliments. You're being too critical of yourself, and a lot of things that you think about yourself. Self-esteem, talking about what has to do with the value you place on yourself, the thoughts you have about yourself, and so many things related to this. We will be talking about this and how it can, of course, affect your relationships, your emotional health, and of course your overall well-being. I won't be doing this alone. I have a guest in the studio talking about Abosede Akepade, a clinical psychologist and a psychotherapist at Crystal Mind Consultant. Thank you so much for joining us, Abosede.
Thank you so much.
All right, I want to believe the weather is affecting your voice. Okay, all right. Today we're talking about self-esteem, and the last time you were here with the other guest, Amanda, who's not here, we talked about depression, and we mentioned a number of things that could possibly lead to depression. But today we are focusing on self-esteem. Now, self-esteem, some persons have said that, okay, self-esteem is about confidence. In my introduction, I talked about the value you place on yourself, and some persons have this orientation that self-esteem is being arrogant. Self-esteem is about being puffed up. You know, self-esteem is about, believing that you are better than other people. What exactly is self-esteem, and why should we be concerned about self-esteem as a people?
Thank you very much for having me here again. Basically, self-esteem is a perception we have about ourselves, perception of value and worth. Looking at self-esteem, some people might call it self-worth, self-value,
okay,
self-confidence. But confidence is the ability, as in the perception we have in our ability, what our thoughts about what we can do, how good we can be at our jobs, okay, maybe at a party, what we can bring to the table. So it's the confidence, the vote of confidence we have in ourselves.
Like they say in politics, vote of confidence you have in yourself.
And how you can present yourself, how you make the world see you, how you can sell your value, sell your potentials, and how you want the world to see you.
Okay.
Self-esteem is in three phases. We have the low self-esteem, the healthy self-esteem, and the inflated self-esteem.
Okay.
People usually mix this together. People with low self-esteem are the ones whom we can see they are withdrawn. Yes, we have the mental phase.
That word is very common. Low self-esteem. Oh, you have low self-esteem. You have low self-esteem. People say that a lot. But what exactly is low self-esteem?
There are criteria we follow.
Okay.
For us to be able to sustain that this person is diagnosed.
Okay, let me quickly ask you this. Now, the difference between having low self-esteem, does it have anything to do with being shy?
It's part of it.
Part of it?
Yes.
Being shy could be part of having low self-esteem.
Yes, it's part of it.
Okay, let's move further. So what exactly is low self-esteem?
Okay, like I was saying the other time,
okay,
when we look at low self-esteem, as psychologists will see the mental criteria and the physical criteria.
Okay.
Now, for the physical criteria, we see someone who is withdrawn, who is self-isolating, and someone who fidgets.
Okay.
So that the fidgeting part is the shy part where we see.
Part, okay.
Yes, but the mental part, someone who is confused on the inside. You can see all the thing is which will be revealed in the person. If you see someone with low self-confidence, low self-esteem, you see that person walking in within. There's a lot of confusion going on inside. There's a lot of self-criticism. There's a lot of negative self-talk going on. So basically, low self-esteem is a perception disorder. Yeah, how we see ourselves. You see that person comparing themselves to others all the time. They are body shaming. They are not, they are not okay with how they look, with what they do. Okay. Even they might be good at what they do, but because they are always self-criticizing, this person is better than me. I wish I am like this person. Okay. So these thoughts that they engage in always, they are self-sabotaging. Makes them not able to engage in things they are supposed to do. It brings a motivation.
Okay, now let's pick it from perception. Okay. You've talked so much about perception, whether self-esteem or low self-esteem. Now, when we say perception, what exactly prompts this perception? What exactly is behind the perception you have about yourself? You have a perception that, okay, I am good, I'm better, I can do this, I'm good at this and all of that. No matter what anybody is saying, I am who I am. So what brings about that perception? How can people get to have that right perception of themselves?
Okay, for everyone in the surface of the earth, we all have our perception, which are coded in our experiences, our core beliefs and assumptions, and the life events that we have experienced over time. So for anyone who has come down with low self-esteem, that person, you see the person who has been bullied in the past, someone who has been faced with trauma, someone who has had parenting, you can see parenting coming in, authoritarian parenting, parenting who says that this is what you should do, this is what I tell you to do and you must do them. So that kind of upbringing will make the child want to make sure they are obedient. Even with their friends, they are not able to set boundaries because they are always on the go. They must do what they are told to do all the time. So those kind of people, they become like a bully to others. Others use them to their advantage. When you have someone with low self-esteem in your office, and even if that person has a task to complete. Okay. And somebody else brings the tax, they are not able to say no.
No.
Yes, they are not able to.
So are you saying parental issues could be a reason for that?
Could also be.
Okay, what are other reasons that could be responsible for that?
Traumas.
Okay.
Yes, experiences of failures
and
someone who has been trying to maybe writing an exam.
But when we talk, let's quickly talk about that parental issue. Now, most of the time, let's say people who were born from 1980s, the 1980s, 1990s. No, not 1990s. Yes, because those that are born now, so to speak, they don't even bother. Some don't bother. They don't care what some parents will say. But some still have this cultural belief that whatever they say, we just have to. And by cultural reasons, you want to listen to your parents. How can that be done? How do you ensure you differentiate, not offending your parents, and they still have to help you with your self-esteem?
Parenting in Africa, basically, it's a very big thing. Until that kind of parenting has faced out, we can't change our parents.
But I want to believe some young ones are changing that themselves.
Yes, because the new parents we have now, they are exposed. They know what a child, they know what.
But if you say they are exposed, some of them still do not have what it takes. Some.
They get to a point when they know that this child wants this.
Okay.
because they know that mental illness is now on the rise. So they know that whenever they are not giving enough, whenever they are withdrawing the affection and the love, the attention they are supposed to give a child, they know that something will bounce back. There's always a feedback.
Okay, let's quickly look at that parenting, because it's very key in the development and growth of a child. Now, let's quickly look at how parents, how they handle their children, especially when it comes to correction. What do you think is the right, as a psychologist, what do you think is the best way to handle a child, to correct a child? Is it by beating, smashing, smacking and all of that? Is it by shouting at them and all of that? Which is part of what some people have experienced in the past. But they were able to get out of it as a result of exposure, going to seminars and all of that. So, what do you think is the best way? And don't forget that you spare the rod and you spoil the child. So, what do you think is the best way?
In our African setting, as a psychologist, I wouldn't say that beating is the right way. Okay. But sometimes our impulses can override our right manner. But the best way to do is identify what the child has done wrong, and then call the child, sit the child down and say, this is what you have done. So the child will be the judge of the event. Because if you have been training your child, even the Bible says that you train a child in the way he should go, and when he grows up, he will not depart from him. So when the child knows that this is the way we do things in this home, and then it calls the child, say the child and say, okay, Bola, you have done this, and then what do you think? Have you done it the right way? Okay. The child knows what he has done. Like, let me give an example. When that when the parents, you have the kind of parents who wouldn't want you to eat at a family's house, and then you went there and said, mommy is looking at me, you collect food and ate.
Okay.
When you come back and you said, okay, Bola, sit down, we have a talk, and the girl is already prepared. She knows that she has done something wrong.
Exactly. Except
for ones who are moving towards antisocial personality, which are not going there today. So the child will be, this is what you have done. He said, okay, mommy, I have done this. They know what they have done.
So you're talking about, speaking to the child,
let
him or her understand what he or she has done. Now, what about stubborn children? Despite using that method, some will still go ahead and say, hey, look, I beg, just leave me, let me do what I want to do. There are some children that, as a result of peer pressure. How do you handle children like that?
Yeah, there's a place of reward, punishment. Punishment that I mean is maybe just withdraw something that they love at that point in time.
Okay.
Yeah, not the essential, maybe like that school feel.
Okay.
Withdraw their iPad.
Are you talking about financial blackmail?
No.
Okay.
No, like withdraw their iPad.
Okay.
Yes, and tell them this is the time until you reflect on your behavior and make corrections. So withdraw what they love from them. So we need to know our children, get to know what they like, so that we know how to dole out our punishments when we are doing them. Not by beating, not by but just take away something they love from them at that point in time, so that they can self-reflect, and then come back to.
All right, you talked about inflated self-esteem. What exactly is inflated? Does that amount to arrogance? Because the word inflated there, it looks like you have 50-50 should apart.
Yeah, they are the Mr. Perfect, Mrs. Perfect.
Mrs. Perfect thing, okay.
Yeah. They are the ones who knows it all.
Okay.
Who has the perfect answers to everything, and then they cannot. They are never guilty. You tell them that, oh, you have done this. They say, no, I have not done anything. I did the right thing. They are always right.
So that's inflated self-esteem.
Yes.
And what effect would that have on one's relationship?
Wow, that relationship will be chaotic.
It will be chaotic.
It will be chaotic.
All right. Okay. We have to go on this break. Yes. And when we're back, we will talk about that inflated self-esteem. I want to believe some people are getting to hear this for the first time. All right. But I want to believe the word inflation would have given a little idea. And of course, we need to look at how it affects our relationships, how it can affect and all of that. Now, we have this video, this package for you, which you're going to see very shortly. Tosin Maliki was able to put together, especially for men that love recent trending hairstyles. You get to see that video. And right after that, we will be back. This is your viewpoint. Please stay tuned.
Did you know that hair is significant in the life of a man? Being one of the few features that influence people's first impression. The stylish look of a man is impossible without a nice haircut. Most importantly, it is best to choose a haircut based on the features or characteristics of your own appearance. If you find yourself in a state of confusion in choosing a suitable haircut, your best bet is to seek professional advice from your hairstylist or barber. We listed few haircuts for you to try out. Mini Afro. This haircut requires less stress than a full-grown afro and shows off the pure pattern and texture embedded within when you decide to add a bit of gel to spice up the looks. Ask Corey De Bello, you got just the perfect and shiny hairstyle. Low-sided cut. This has been in trend for years now, and this is actually the official working class hairstyle and would never get out of style. It gives men that young manly look. It is one that fits perfectly on a lustrous beard and a clean, well-shaped outline. Skin tight. This haircut is common amongst kids while growing up, especially for those who were unfortunate to have dandruff in their hair. But then again, some men keep their hair to this level, and in most cases because they are probably bald or their hair grows uneven. Some celebrities rock this haircut in Nigeria with ease, such as Banky W, Nigerian singer and songwriter, and Ike Ogbonna, Nigerian Nollywood actor, to mention a few. Obama. This style has been in trend and features a low cut, but with fuller hair in front and lower hairs to both sides, as well as the center and the back. Thank you, Barack Obama, for the inspiration. He really had loyal fans across the world, most especially in Nigeria. Punk. This haircut is more advanced and much more recent in nature and could be dated back to the 1980s. The punk is a redo of the early haircut, which has got more swag. This haircut could be seen featured on several Nigerian artists. Smooth and wavy fade. Do you want something that screams cool and fresh? Look no further, this is the perfect hairstyle for you. Everything about this hairstyle feels right, from the incredible texture to the sleek 360 waves and side fade. With this hairstyle on your head, you might start a controversial opinion poll asking who wore it better, you or Drake.
So much for being there. We're still talking about self-esteem this beautiful afternoon on Your Viewpoint, and I'm still talking to Abosede Akepade, a clinical psychologist and a psychotherapist. The other time we were talking about inflated self-esteem, and of course we wanted to look at how it can affect relationships. You talked about Mr. Perfect, Miss Perfect, and what it has to do with inflated self-esteem. You want to explain further?
All right, thank you very much. People with inflated self-esteem do not mind hurting others because they feel that what they have done is right, and they will stand by it, telling they it looks like it's not even looks like they undervalue the other person, because they feel they need to get ahead, to cover up for their inadequacies. They're always trying to camouflage.
Is it about too much ego?
Yes.
And do we have females?
Of course, we have a lot of them.
A lot of them.
Right now.
Okay. All right. Don't forget that you can be a part of the show. You can call the numbers running on your screen. And of course, you can drop your comment on our social media platforms. That's at Your Viewpoint on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All right. Let's move forward and talk about health. You said talked about healthy self-esteem. Yes, I want to believe that is the normal self-esteem. Yeah. So how do you get that? Let's start with how to identify someone with healthy self-esteem.
Thank you very much. Someone with some healthy self-esteem, they are the normal people who do not perceive themselves as better than anyone else. They don't compare themselves to others. They just see themselves as who they are, accept what they look like, what their ability can do, the position they are. They are self-accepting. When they make mistake, they always agree to it. Yes. So, and they are the kind of people who will go out of their way to help, not because they are compelled to, but they do it out of the goodness of their heart. They are accepting.
Does it mean that you are humble? Is it the same thing?
Humility and healthy self-esteem.
You know why? Because because we need to clear misconceptions about healthy self-esteem or having self-esteem. The other time we're talking about having self-esteem and arrogance, so to speak. Some people think that, but very quickly, is there any relationship between healthy self-esteem and being humble?
No, humility.
They are not related.
They are not related.
Why?
No, they have a
Okay.
bit of both. But
Okay.
humility, goes beyond healthy self-esteem.
Okay.
For humility, even something that belongs to you, you can let it go.
You can let it go, okay?
Yes, because you want peace to reign.
Okay.
Because you want to achieve something. Humility is more of the spiritual part.
Really?
Yes, because for a normal person,
Yes.
maybe someone who has decided to let go of things, maybe had gotten to a point where they have achieved everything, and like, okay, there's nothing in this world.
Yeah, but somebody who has a healthy self-esteem would also want to do same.
Yes, but humility goes beyond.
Okay, let's look at the other one. Low self-esteem or self-esteem and arrogance. Any relationship?
Yes, there is a relationship.
Okay, what
because
are they?
if people are constantly saying you as Mr. Perfect and you don't take correction, yes, people can say that you're arrogant.
So that is where we have inflated self-esteem. All right, the numbers are on your screen. You can, of course, call in to ask your questions or make your contributions. Let us know where you're calling from, and of course, you tell us your name. We're still talking about self-esteem this afternoon, I beg your pardon. Now, overconfidence and self-esteem. Any relationship?
The overconfidence is inflated.
Inflated?
Yeah.
Okay, so self-esteem and confidence, the same thing?
No.
Why?
Confidence is the ability you have in yourself, the perceived ability.
Okay.
What you think you can do.
Okay.
Do better than others. Yes, you can be better at singing than others. Your grades might be better than others. Yes, it's the ability, because you have the value, as in the thought that I can do this, and you can actually do it. Yes. But for people with low self-esteem, they feel they are not good enough. Those are their hypotheses. Somebody else is better than me. Somebody else looks better than me. I am good at nothing. We can say that they have a shame disorder. Shame, yes, because those kind of people, they feel even if they can do this thing, when they come to the stage, you see that they are not able to do it. It's not because they cannot do this, but because they have this self-absorbing thoughts, sabotaging, what they want to be. They have this negative self-view of themselves, that they are not good enough. And then when you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, what do you expect? Nothing good.
Is it possible to have people who try to kill your self-esteem? And how is that done?
If you're in a competition, some people, they want to appear, better than others. So, for somebody whose self-esteem is already shaking, and then, and then somebody is already camouflaging, I can do this. No, of course, you'll be shaking a bit. I hope I can get to this point where this person is. But usually, that is a camouflage, like I said the other time. Some people, they just want to camouflage and show you that they can do all this. But when you get to them, when you say that, no, all this is just a camouflage, it's just a cloud. And it takes... And many people, they don't get close to people. They just make decisions based on the facial, thing they have seen. But until you get close to people, there's something called primary effect, recency effect.
All right, we have a call now. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. What's your name and where you're calling from? Hello, are you there? Hello. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, let's go on. I want to believe the person would call back. All right. Okay, now let's quickly look at self-esteem in children. What is the possible result? How does it have, or let's say low self-esteem? Does it have a way of damaging them in future? Is it possible to affect their relationships? And children, for instance, how do you know if you mentioned shyness, which could be part of, what other things can we use to identify children who have low self-esteem?
They are self-withdrawn.
Withdrawn, okay.
Yes. They don't have many friends. They don't participate, when
Not having many friends, does it automatically mean that you have low self-esteem?
It's just part of it.
Part of it,
Yes.
okay.
When you have like 10 items and you are taking good for 5,
Okay.
then you can be said to have low self-esteem.
All right. Okay, we're still talking about self-esteem and, of course, how it can lead to depression. We've been talking about different types. We've talked about the healthy self-esteem, the inflated self-esteem, and, of course, we talked about low self-esteem, and, of course, perception disorder. You mentioned something that has to do with that the other time, perception disorder. What other things can you say about that, perception disorder?
Perception is just the way we perceive things.
Okay.
Like, let me give an example. Somebody writes a 6, and you can see the 6 from here. Somebody else sees the 9. It does not mean that that person is wrong or you are right.
No.
Just for us to come to a common ground. So it's okay, I can see 6 from here, I can see a 9 from here. But one thing is common, there's a curve.
There's a curve, yes.
Yes. So you can see a curve, you can see something around the gate, there's something there. So this perception, when we can balance it with other people's view, that's when it becomes healthy.
Okay.
Yes. And perception could be it could be wrong. It can be wrong, I said it the other time, based on our experiences, our core beliefs, something we have grown up with, and then changing them can be a whole lot. It takes a whole lot of work for us to be able to change our perception about a certain thing or a certain people. Maybe someone had regularly disappointed you on a regular basis, and somebody asks you to go and meet. I said, this person has done this over time. Yeah, so that person needs to work things out.
Let's even look at how it affects relationships. Now let's talk about the romantic relationships. People who wants to get married and all of that because they've been disappointed so many times, and when they get to into other relationships, it looks like what has happened to them has really damaged them, and they don't want to come out. They don't want to be open-minded, so to speak. What do you have to say to them?
When people have experienced failure over time, it tends to affect their self-worth. So it results in hopelessness, helplessness, and people become desperate. Especially, I tell people who comes to me for relationship counseling, you need to wait. Some people, they now become desperate. Say, I must get married before the age of 30. Everybody is saying.
All right. Okay, let's quickly take this call. Please turn down the volume on your TV and tell us your name and where you're calling from. Okay, we missed that. Please go on.
Okay, so people become desperate. So anybody comes to them, even that person is exhibiting any form of, inflated self-esteem, somebody who is not, emotionally available. They just say, God, I need to get married. That's why they just enter the relationship for just because somebody wants to party and somebody wants to be called Mrs.
Okay.
Yes. No, people.
Okay, we have someone on the line. Let's give it a try. Please turn down the volume on your TV. Your name and where you're calling from. Hello, good afternoon. All right, I think we need to move on. Okay, people are trying to call in. All right, you can, of course, send your SMS. If it looks like calling in is difficult, send an SMS to the number on your screen. Okay. You were saying something about relationships, how it can affect relationships. Somebody who has been through domestic violence, how can that affect their self-esteem?
They're already
damaged.
They are already damaged and defeated.
What's the best way to build people like that, to help them build their self-esteem?
They need to come to therapy. They need to, the first thing for recovery is for you to accept that there's a problem. Acceptance usually is a problem. People are in denial. They're like, okay, I can do this. When they can't, they are already broken. Just accept the fact that you're broken and you need fixing. When you accept that, then you can move further by finding a professional that can help you in that regard. You can also do what identify all those negative thoughts that are coming to you. When you have been defeated over time, of course, you feel that okay, nothing good can come out of this, then identify it. At what direction is this coming from, and try to challenge this using a thought court. The thought that the evidence against the evidence for this thought. People are very, they are lazy. They can't journal your thoughts. Let's see what your thought look like. Identify those negative thoughts, and let's dissect it. Let's see the thoughts against it. We need to look for evidences that support these thoughts, and evidences that support that is against that thought. When we are able to balance them, and then when you write them down, is that because this length is long or this length is short? No, you look at how strong they are. You can have an evidence that is one evidence that is stronger, that 4, and one that stronger than all those lined up things. So you look at that to make your informed decision. Yes, about a decision you want to make. And when people say that a relationship can be abusive, relationship will be withdrawn, I actually tell people, I don't need to tell you with my mouth, but look at it. Draw up your pros and your cons. See what makes this relationship good for you. And when you start thinking that, okay, because my mom wants me to be in the relationship, because of my age, what about looking at your mental health? On the long run, how long do you think this marriage will last?
Some persons, as a result of having nobody to fend for them, could make them stay back.
That's in the place of need. Because they feel that, okay, this person will, but eventually what happens? They run out of that marriage. They are not able to stay, or they get killed eventually. For domestic violence and the like.
All right, we were talking about, we've talked about relationship. Let's look at the mental health and the emotional health as well. I want to believe they are related. Yes. How does it affect when you have low self-esteem?
If it's a constant thing and it's not being checked, or experiences has not overridden it, even for some people with low self-esteem, they start experiencing, something good that would change their perception. Like, okay, the world is good, the world is a place to be. But for some people who continue to experience failures, who experience setback, some of them could attempt suicide. Some could even, go into depression.
So low self-esteem can actually lead to suicide.
It could.
All right, we've been talking about self-esteem. Remember, you can send your messages to the numbers showing on your screen. You can also call in to join the discussion, the conversation. And I have in the studio, I've been talking to Abosede Akinkwade, a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist at Crystal Mind Consultant. Now, people with low self-esteem, at what point do they need a psychologist?
Once they're able to
at what level?
At any level.
And how do you now determine that point where you can say, oh, it looks like I have low self-esteem? At what level? At what point? What are the things you get to see? Maybe signs, symptoms, if you want to call it that.
For every individual, want to know that you cannot get at par with every other person. Those things at par.
If you say at par, there are so many things that you see. Sometimes it is not just possible for everybody to be at the same level.
No.
Okay, not that.
That's not what I meant.
Okay.
I meant that when you are not able to get to the level not the over inflated level.
Okay.
Just the normal level where everyone operates. You are not able to do what other people do that used to, maybe like enjoy what other people used to enjoy. Some people, when they're in the midst of friends, they enjoy, but when you're in the midst of friends, it becomes a battle. Yes, that there's difficulty in that regard when you are always by yourself.
You're struggling with yourself. You're finding it so hard to do what others are doing, so to speak.
Yes, that is
now
so
some
easy
people
for them.
are being too critical. Remember, I mentioned that in my introduction. Yes, when they make a mistake, then they want to kill themselves, and they feel, oh, okay, how can I do this? Is that low self-esteem or inflated self-esteem?
That's more inflated. Because they feel that they need to be better at all the time. There's room for slack.
But don't forget, we have people that are perfectionists naturally.
And that's the inflated self-esteem.
Would you call that inflated too?
It is inflated. because you can't just be good at all the time. There's room for slack, there's room for mistake. When we are able to accept our mistake, that's when we'll improve. But then when you always tell yourself, I am the best, yes, that positive self-talk is good.
Okay.
But showing that you must always be at the top,
yes.
then we should also, that is a black and white thinking.
Okay.
If you have it, if you don't have it all, you don't have anything. Okay. Call it all or nothing thinking too.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting. All right, thank you so much for being there. We've been talking about self-esteem. I want to ask, do you play chess? No, why? Okay, I know a number of persons, many people may not have an idea of how to play chess, but this video we're going to show you is about chess, the chess game. How much of chess do you know? And of course, what do you need to play chess, and how can you be a winner when you play chess? You are going to be seeing that in the world of sport, and right after that, we're on the streets as well to see what people had to say about self-esteem, what their opinions are about self-esteem, and right after that we will be back. Please go nowhere.
Did you know that chess was used by military officials to fashion out how to close in on their enemies? This has grown to be a widely accepted game played mostly by elites because of the tactics involved in winning. Legend says that chess was invented around 200 BC by commander Han Sen, who invented the game to represent a particular battle. Soon after the battle, the game was forgotten and then resurfaced in the 7th century AD with several new rules. In Nigeria, 1851 Agidingbi chess game is a historical game and Nigeria's first variant of the chess game, designed by Nigerian cultural activist and historian Oludamola Adebowale. The game was invented as a way to make history fun after the subject was removed by the Nigerian educational syllabus in 2015. The idea for the game, he said, came while he was at the Lagos Book and Art Festival. A chess genius, Babatunde Onokoya, founded Chess in Slums Africa in 2018. Chess aided his rise from his own deprived childhood in Lagos. Babatunde said he was driven by a conviction that Nigerian education is in crisis, with many children either out of school or not learning what he sees as useful survival skills. Although becoming a chess champion is not an easy road, history shows us that in order to get to the top, one needs to work hard and invest a lot of time into chess training and preparation. But the question we should ask, is everyone willing to do what it takes? Here is one of the traits every chess champion must possess: passion for the game, ambition, hard work, patience, strong character, fighting spirit, unique personality, confidence, ability to focus, ability to adapt. The ultimate goal of chess is to checkmate your opponent. This happens when the king is attacked by another piece and has no way to escape. At that point, the game is over. But checkmate doesn't happen without preparation. To win a chess game, you will need to do these 6 things. Make good opening moves. Do not give away pieces for free. Get your pieces in position. Coordinate an attack on the king. Watch the safety of your own king. Always be a good sportsman.
My name is Engineer Elvis. Self-esteem has something to do with confidence. It's all about confidence. If you are confident, you have high self-esteem. If you lose confidence, you have low self-esteem. When you think too much, when you look less of yourself, think less of yourself against your peers, depression can set in.
Yeah, my definition for self-esteem is the way you see yourself, the way you carry yourself, what you think about yourself, how you push yourself out there, that's self-esteem. If you lack self-esteem and then you begin to see that people are not, you don't carry yourself the right way, then you feel a bit intimidated and you can begin to withdraw, and depression comes from withdrawal. You're not attaining something and then you withdraw and then depression sets in. So it's possible.
People's opinion really matters than what you think of yourself. So obviously now people get depressed for so many reasons. People can even get depressed that because this person is wearing my hair, me I'm not wearing my hair. You can get depressed because of that. There's basically no reason that is justified. People can get depressed from so many reasons. So seek for help from professionals. That's what I would say, from professionals. Get therapy. Just seek professional advice, help, and all of that. Then you can bring God. There's nothing God cannot do. You can pray about it, but in the midst of all that, just bring professional. There are people that are actually professional in that field. They know they know when to and how to come in. So that's just it. Just seek help.
Self-esteem. If somebody does not, you don't value yourself. You believe that somebody is superior to you. Maybe that what you are going through is as a result of somebody being bigger than you, greater than you, and you want to be playing everything down. It can lead to depression. But that's why it's always good. It's the work of parents, it's the work of educators, it's the work of pastors and whoever that is in a good position to play that role. Let them know that God has made them in His image. They are not inferior or less than anybody. Don't listen to what will not be helpful to you. Society, particularly the type of society we have today, used to put pressure on people. The best way is to make sure that you don't listen to those things. Parents play their role, mentors, pastors. There are so many people that can also mentor you, help you to come out of depression. There are bodies today that are playing that role to encourage people to come out of depression.
Thanks for being there. We're still talking self-esteem on Your Viewpoint this lovely afternoon, and Abosede wants to react to what people on the street had to say. Some said, okay, it's about how you carry yourself, and maybe that person was going to say how you package. Is it about that too?
No, basically self-esteem is from the inside. It's not about just looking beautiful. I've seen a lot of my clients, when you see their picture, you say, wow, beautiful girl, handsome boy, but within, they see themselves as not good enough, and they think I am ugly. I told one, I said, can you look at yourself, see your well-rounded
I've
lips?
seen somebody like that before.
Your well-rounded
yes.
lips. Can you tell me your height? Beautiful eyes, beautiful everything. And this person is, okay, let's change what is going on inside you. It's just from the inside. It's the thoughts that has been groomed, that have been grooming for a long time, and it will take a while to change.
Do you think sometimes people feel it's about the village people in quotes, and because of that, maybe because they decided not to look inwards and see what is wrong with them, then they just conclude that it's a spiritual problem. Can it be a spiritual problem?
Never.
As a psychologist, you may not want to agree with the fact that
no, I would never believe an arrow from a village will cause you
to have low self-esteem. All right, we're still talking about self-esteem. You can call in. I will take your calls now, but remember to stay away from your TV, or you turn on the volume on your TV set. You can also send in your text messages. Now, let's quickly look at this. Let's take this call and see who is on the line. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is John. I'm calling from Ejekule.
All right, thank you. So what's your take?
Please, this topic brought up is very interesting. get topic and I can say boldly that I have a confined over most especially the low self-esteem aspect of it. Please can the consultant please drop, if I don't know if she will please to drop her phone number so that anybody out there can reach her for one or two things. Most especially I can call it now.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for calling. Okay. Possibly she would drop handle so that you can reach her. Now, what's your take? Somebody sent in a message just now, but before we go into that, okay, let's quickly take that message. It says, self-esteem is a quality possessed by the soul and is good for it because it allows the possessor to make good use of itself. Meanwhile, humility is one of the qualities possessed by God alone, but can be possessed by someone who is dead to self and alive to God alone in the Holy Spirit. That's Tosi from Yaba. What's your take? That person is going by. You were going to say hallelujah to that.
Hallelujah to that now. That was more of the spiritual person.
Okay.
But humility, just to on the surface level to accept those things, you cannot change.
Okay, all right. All right, let's take this. Thank you for joining us. Your name and where you're calling from. Please stay away from your TV set. Okay, we lost that. All right, so basically, it's not a spiritual thing. Now, I wanted to take you back to where you said you see some people, they are beautiful, they are handsome and all of that, but they are not happy with themselves. Yes, so it's about self-esteem. Having inside. It's just like you're saying you are beautiful from the inside. Okay, does it have anything to do with, some guys, they're not so, they're just normal, good looking, just normal. Then they get beautiful girls. Is it about self-esteem?
You also need skills.
Skills too.
Yeah, especially when it comes to, win girls.
Yes, and all of that. Okay, then we also have people, let's say students. Sometimes they must have, let's say somebody who is going for a debate, or you have to speak and all of that, public speaking, which is a very big problem for some persons. Now, if somebody has low self-esteem, I think it could be a problem.
It could be a problem. I've had, a lot of clients calling in. Someone called me recently and she was like, oh, I was called to pray at, at a birthday party of a friend, and when I tried to open my mouth, I could not pray.
Wow.
It's not as if she does not have the right words. She has been praying all her life. But now the words were not coming out.
Wow.
That's, the low self-esteem, could have graduated to the point that is now showing in anxiety, social anxiety disorders, where you manage the crowd.
Yes.
It becomes the management science. You have to manage.
That's quite interesting.
Yes.
Management science. Let's take this call and see what they have for us. Okay, we've lost that. We have some messages here. This says John Ugbo. It says, in my own understanding, self-esteem is the way to carry yourself and how positively you think about yourself. Although some people do confuse those who have self-esteem to being proud or arrogant, which is part of what we talked about initially.
We have been able to differentiate some healthy self-esteem from inflated self-esteem.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Sorry, let's take this. Good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from. Stay away from your TV.
I'm calling from Mushi.
You're calling from Mushi. Thank you for joining us. What's your name?
My name is Neka.
Neka, okay. What do you have to say to us? Okay, we lost that. Another message here says, you were saying something about being proud and arrogant, or arrogant as it relates to self-esteem, going by what the message said.
Yes, inflated self-esteem is different from healthy self-esteem.
Okay.
Healthy self-esteem are the ones who are able to accept themselves for who they are, what they can do part-time. But for people with inflated self-esteem, they want to get ahead of others, even if he hurts the other person. Yes, they see themselves as better than every other person and deserve to get the best at all the time.
All right. Good afternoon.
My name is
all right. Remember to stay away from your TV so that we can avoid that humming sound. Okay, go on. Go ahead with your thoughts. A question, yes.
What about when you are working for a long year
Okay.
Then you are not using the money for, you are not giving benefit of the money you are working for.
Okay.
That's because you think concern about what
Self-esteem. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling. All right. The question is, if you've been working for for a number of years, and you couldn't get anything out of those years, does it have anything to do with self-esteem? Somebody has been working for 10. Okay, 10 is even small. 20, 25 years. Is there any relationship?
I don't see a link. The story is not complete.
Okay.
But I can infer something that is not complete.
Okay.
I can infer something. If somebody has been working for a long time and then you are not able to use the money, what are you using the money for? Are you overspending? Are you using your money on drugs? Are you there's a lot of things.
A lot of things that could be a reason for that. Okay, Jennifer Okeke says, I strongly believe that lack of self-esteem can lead to depression, because once an individual starts to question what he or she is living for and thinks poorly of themselves, there and then depression starts to kick in. To Care Oladipo says, in order to improve one's self-esteem, you must work on your psychology to start thinking positively of yourself, and most importantly, associate yourself with people who would love and encourage you. Once you have a support system like family, you will be able to gain your self-esteem back. Is that true?
And friends.
Family and friends. So the type of friends you have could also determine the kind of self-esteem you have.
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yes. Some people, the home front is not strong enough for them. So they are usually in the face of their friends who are constantly trying to bring them down.
And that is quite common. I've seen a lot of persons, moving with, they bring that you cannot do this, you don't have what it takes, and they still move with those friends. Yes. What is responsible for that?
Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem.
Because it takes for you to accept that this thing is not good for me. These people, the people with low self-esteem are not able to make decisions and stand by it. Yes, they constantly want to be with people who do not love them, instead of them to move away.
Okay.
It is healthy self-esteem will tell you move away from this person.
Away.
This is not good for my mental health.
Is it about you see, some people couldn't do that. Is it about education that they are not aware, they don't know? Is it about ignorance or having no knowledge that these people are not helping me, they are not helping my self-esteem, they don't believe in me?
Yes, number one, knowledge is power. When
knowledge
you know something, you can work on it. Because some people, they know. When they look at this person, it might be in a relationship, and they now have a very strong reason not to live that way. This person gives me money.
Yes.
Money could be a very strong reason not to leave that relationship. This person is good in bed. That person, I've had clients who was experiencing internet IPO, like she's having domestic violence, and then after we had counseled her for her, told her you have seen the pros and cons of this relationship, and then she had a very strong reason. The guy gives me money and he's very good in bed. All my boyfriend are not as good as.
Okay, well, we get to talk about that some other time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We've been talking about self-esteem and how you can actually avoid low self-esteem, how you can develop yourself, how you can change your perception about yourself. There's something they call anorexia. Hopefully some other time we'll get to talk about it, which some people believe it has something to do with self-esteem. All right, thank you so much for being a part of the show, for those who called in and for those who sent in their messages. Be sure to join us same time next week. By God's grace, we'll be here again Tuesdays 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. That's when you get to see us right here on Your Viewpoint. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me again.
All right. Thank you so much for being there. It's bye for now.